I was having a look at my book the other day, and I thought I would read you the that cover, or a little bit of it, and share one of the values. Society has always warned women about apples. For centuries, Eve's choice to eat the forbidden fruit has been used to shame women who dare seek knowledge, power, or their own truth. But what if taking the bite wasn't humanity's greatest fall, but women's first step towards freedom? In this revolutionary book, transformational coach Trudy Pavlovsky turns the ancient narrative on its head, revealing how the very traits women are taught to suppress, like ambition, attention-seeking, rebelliousness, sexuality, and authority, are actually their greatest sources of power. And as we consider this, I want you to think back to a time, and most likely it'll be in childhood, because quite often that's where the shame and the guilt and the judgment that we carry into adulthood is first foisted upon us. I want you to think about a time where potentially you stood up for yourself, or you stood up for somebody else, or you pushed back against a rule and you got punished. You went against the status quo and you got called rebellious. And it was a bad thing to be punished. You were speaking up or standing up for something that was really meaningful to you, and you got punished. So rebelliousness. And in the chapter it's called The Cigarettes of Defiance, because I started smoking when I was 16 as a form of rebellion. I remember saying to my mum when I was about 10 that I thought smoking was disgusting and smelly and gross, and I would never smoke. But 16, I decided to start smoking. Anyway, the adjective, rebelliousness, showing a desire to resist authority, control, or convention. I became very rebellious and opted out. Number 2, engaged in opposition or armed resistance to an established government or leader. The rebellious republics is an example. I love number 3, not easily controlled or kept in place. She smoothed back a lock of rebellious hair. Anyway, so in this book, in Embrace Your Shadow, we do actually explore the rule breaking and the power of being someone who does break the rules, who does push back. Because right now, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be rebelling. We need to be breaking out of the old belief that rebellion is bad, that we will get punished, that it makes us less of a human being to rebel. Me smoking as a 16-year-old, not a healthy way to rebel. In primary school, I pushed back and rebelled against the rules about girls being able to play certain sports. Now, what was interesting about this experience, girls were told in about grade 5 and 6, we weren't allowed to play football anymore, or we weren't allowed to play cricket because they were boys' sports. And the age of development that we were at could mean that if we got a ball in the chest, we could end up with an injury. I remember Mrs. Regan telling me that even though, teenage boys get a knock in the head, or primary school boys, they're still going to get an injury as well. So it all boiled down to a day. Friday afternoon was our sports days in primary school, and I was supposed to go and play netball, and I wanted to go, I can't remember if it was cricket or football, one or the other. And this is why I so love AFLW now, because in my day, girls were, football, no, not at all. And I refused to leave the area where we all assembled before we went to go and play sport. Absolutely refused. And I remember a girl called Kelly Murray was near me as well. And she was kind of trying to be there in solidarity, but I think she was also quite terrified of standing up to the teachers. So it was grade 6 for me, because I was actually the school captain as well. And so I remember Mr. Moore, the teacher, is just doing his best to convince me to go, even to the point of saying, you'll lose your school captain's badge you'll lose the title, you'll lose the role if you do not behave. So there it is, the threat of loss, of taking something away, something that was very, very important to me. I'm in grade 6. I'm looking up at this teacher who looked 10 feet tall at the time. I had always been a good girl, but this was important. So I grabbed the netball. Now, did I throw it at him? Did I throw it near him? He claims I threw it at him. I think in my memory, I just threw it in anger and threw it near him. And in that act of defiance, I then went and played netball, grudgingly. But I learned a really valuable lesson. All the male teachers, the school principal was male, this particular teacher was male. He did not like me, so he did not like my family. They took away something else, the honour of the award, and that award meant so much to me. In hindsight, was the lesson at the time was I get punished for speaking up, because they threatened to take away the school captain's badge. I ended up having to have a discussion with the school principal as well about it. I got in trouble. They did let me keep my school captain's role, but at the end of the year, the school captain, who traditionally gets the Walker Trophy, so this is how burnt my memory it is. I'm 50 and I can still remember the name of the trophy. So this Walker Trophy was the pinnacle, and it was traditionally always given to the school captain. I was a top student, I excelled in a lot of things, and I didn't get it. Why am I telling you this? I think as women and non-conforming people, we get punished for that. And we bring those fears and lessons with us into being adults. So where were you punished for pushing back or rebelling, if you were? And what does it mean for your life now? Because when we conform, we don't ask, we don't get, we don't rock the boat, we don't step forward in confidence with our beliefs, we don't speak up when it's important. We need our voices, we need to be heard, we need to find, at whatever level we can do it, we need to start rebelling against the system that we exist in that represses us, and we need to find a way to find our voice again. That's one of the chapters in this book. It's available on the Kickstarter. Click my Facebook banner for the link, ask me for the link. If you've got any other questions, pop them below.